Tesla shares are extending their losses in the pre-market trading. Now, the stock initially popped after reporting its fiscal third quarter earnings after the bell on Wednesday. But once the call started, investors started to sour on these results. You're looking at losses of just over 6.5%. Here with what went wrong, Yahoo Finance senior autos reporter Pras Subramanian. Pras, looks like the street's not too satisfied with these results.
Yeah, hey, Shauna. Yeah, kind of big picture there, that miss in the top and bottom line, slight dip in margins, sort of kind of weighing on the stock. And of course, a number of things also coming up there for the company. And then also sort of the sort of concern about, so the global economic environment. But yeah, on the call last night, a number of things came up with Musk, CEO Elon Musk, talking about three big things here. I want to know Mexico, the status of that plant, the Cybertruck, and of course, outlook there for the company. So with Mexico, that's the next giga plant that came up in the call, and Musk sort of surprised someone. He said that they might be backing off on fully building out the plant at this time. Here's what he had to say on the call.
We're laying the groundwork to begin construction and doing all the long lead items. But I think we want to just get a sense for what the global economy is like before we go full tilt on the Mexico factory. I'm worried about the high interest rate environment.
So Musk mentioned that high rate environment multiple times. I heard you guys talking about that just now earlier in the show. So and that's sort of also on his mind as a sort of a weight on the sort of build out of the plant, because he's concerned about where the economy will be and whether they need to keep making cars and expanding their volume there. So secondly, the Cybertruck, of course, huge news. They announced that the November delivery date in the shareholder deck, they teased it with the picture there. And then they tweeted out that actually the November 30th will be the actual event date for the delivery. So good news there, but it wasn't all good news for that Cybertruck. Musk sort of painting a dim outlook, talking about how, quote, we dug our own grave with Cybertruck, warning that the production of that car is an enormous challenge, and reaching volume production will also be a challenge. And he added that it'll probably take 12 to 18 months before the Cybertruck is a positive cash flow contributor for Tesla. So not exactly the savior that many had seen for the Cybertruck for the company, right? Finally, outlook. Tesla reiterating that 1.8 million unit production forecast, hinting that sort of Q4 will be a big quarter if they're going to meet that goal. Long term, it's hard to see how a slowdown in Mexico helps them reach that 50% CAGR growth rate that they've talked about before. It seems that Musk was asked about that growth rate, and he laughed it off, saying that if we did that, you would have more cars in the world would ever need. But it's funny because Tesla was the one that came up with that target as their long-term growth rate. So that's sort of ironic there. A little outlook point from Musk and Tesla last night in the call.
It's really interesting. Everything that you were breaking down there, Pras, especially on the Mexico plant, which if that impacts the Cybertruck, that's perhaps enough to make optimists' ears go ruh-roh. But at the end of the day here, you got to think about where this company is able to still, in the interim period, bring in margins, especially amid this pricing war. Did they give any type of details around where margins are either under pressure as we were tracking these results, and knew that there was going to be some strategy to place attention on the Cybertruck, especially while there's this margin pressure that is ensuing as a result of their pricing mechanisms that they have put in place over the most recent quarter?
It's interesting. Margins came up a lot in the prior last quarter's conference call and didn't really come up much here. I think it's a given that Tesla is saying, we're going to go for volume, and we're going to sacrifice margins as a result. And 17.9% gross margin is not that bad when you compare it to the other automakers there. So I think there's the street is probably saying, we accepted this story. Musk did say, though, or Tesla did say that the expansion and sort of productivity at Giga Berlin and Giga Austin was improving. They're going to see more volume there and probably better productivity, so that might balance out any potential effects of cost cuts for this car. So that's a positive. And then that Gen 3 platform is still supposedly on the way, and that will be when that thing actually is being made in a different sort of innovative way, that'll be a cheap car to make, but also cheap from a cost point of view, and that will also help margins down the road. So I think that margin story right now is sort of taking a back seat at the moment for Tesla. It's more about Cybertruck potential issues or challenges, and then also sort of that outlook. Can they reach that outlook given what's happening with the global economic environment?
All right, Pras, thanks so much for teeing up the conversation here on Tesla and listening into the call yesterday. Pras, we appreciate it.